Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the important parts and plans of Union Budget 2022. We will cover 6 key developments from today's budget which are most relevant to individual investors. But before moving ahead, hit the subscribe button and like the video if you haven't already, because we post quality content on personal finance and investing every week to help you create wealth. Now let's come back to today's topic. Let us start with the first big development hinted at by the finance minister in her budget speech today. That was the plan involving the PM Gati Shakti program. This program is expected to help develop the national infrastructure for the next 25 years and pave the way for a multimodal transport network across India. The Gati Shakti plan will be driven by 7 engines, which are roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways, and logistics infrastructure. The plan will be aiming at bringing on economic transformation through seamless multimodal connectivity and logistics efficiency. Under this plan, a master plan for expressways will be made in 2022-23 and the national highways network will be expanded by 25,000 kilometers with funds of 20,000 crore rupees being set aside for these plans. Contracts will also be awarded for implementation of multimodal logistics parks at 4 locations through PPP mode in the year. 400 Vande Bharat trains will be developed and built in the next 3 years. 100 PM Gati Shakti cargo terminals for multimodal logistics facilities will be developed during the next 3 years. Financing and faster implementation of metro systems will also be implemented according to the plan. These initiatives have added to the other capex announcements, which have resulted in a sharp rise of over 35% in the capex outlay for financial year 23, which has risen to 7.5 lakh crore rupees versus 5.54 lakh crore rupees last year. The continued announcement of these massive infrastructure plans has seen infrastructure stocks like L&T and IRB Infra ending the day at above 3% gain, while cement makers like Shri Cement and Dalmia Bharat have seen more than 5% gain today. And Ultratech, India Cements, Ramco and JK Lakshmi have all seen gains of above 3%. Even metal stocks like Tata Steel, Jindal Steel and Vedanta have rallied 5 to 7.5% today, highlighting the positive impact of these announcements on the sector. The second big development was the announcement of the central bank digital currency of digital rupee. This is expected to provide a big boost to the digital economy and highlight the stance of the authorities in exploring blockchain technologies and practically implementing them in the country. The digital rupee is expected to be released in the year ahead by the RBI. Regarding digital assets, the finance minister has also announced a brand new taxation scheme for virtual digital assets. It is proposed that any income from the transfer of any virtual digital asset shall be taxed at a flat rate of 30%. Further details regarding this new tax regime are: losses from this asset class will not be used to offset profits from other asset classes. TDS of 1% will be deducted at the time of transaction. Gifting of these assets will also be taxed at the same 30%. This development may be a downer for virtual digital investors in the short term, but it highlights towards increasing acceptance of virtual assets like cryptocurrencies and NFTs in India. The third big development was regarding clean energy and electric vehicle space. The finance minister has proposed the creation of special mobility zones in urban areas under development, and these zones shall be used exclusively for public transport using clean energy and electric vehicles. Furthermore, the finance minister stated that given the constraint of space in urban areas for setting up charging stations at scale, the government will be bringing in a battery swapping policy officially and will formulate interoperability standards to support this movement. It is also expected to encourage the development of battery or energy as a service model for the private sector. Battery swapping is a mechanism in which, instead of using a fixed immovable battery structure that can only be charged at a charging point, consumers can use portable batteries where low charge batteries can be exchanged with fully charged batteries for a fee. In the clean energy space, the finance minister has proposed the target of making 280 gigawatt of installed solar capacity by 2030, aided by an additional allocation of 19,500 crore rupees for the solar cell PLI scheme. These announcements resulted in minor rises in the prices of battery makers like Exide, Amara Raja and stocks associated with solar energy like Adani Green Energy and Borosil Renewables. The fourth big announcement was regarding the housing sector in India. The finance minister announced that over 80 lakh houses will be completed for the identified eligible beneficiaries of PM Awas Yojana in both rural and urban regions. Around 48,000 crore rupees will be allocated for this program this year. Furthermore, an allocation of 60,000 crore rupees has also been made to provide access to tap water to 3.8 crore households under the Har Ghar Nal Se Jal program, which is also expected to benefit the affordable housing sector immensely. This announcement saw affordable housing players rise with Awas Financials shooting up almost 10% today, while HDFC Limited and Canfin Homes have both seen gains of over 1.9% today. These announcements were also partly responsible for the gains seen in the cement and steel sectors, which were the biggest gainers in the market today. The fifth big announcement was the extension of additional credit to MSME sector under the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme. The government has extended ECLGS to March 2023, while the guaranteed cover has expanded by 50,000 crore rupees to a total of 5 lakh crore rupees. Although this is a big relief for the MSME sector, it is expected to lead to higher NPAs in public sector banks in the future when the program winds up. This expectation has seen a big divergence emerge in the banking sector stocks today, with private banks rising while public sector banks have fallen. It resulted in the Nifty Private Bank Index rising 1.93%, while the Nifty PSU Bank Index had fallen 0.58% by the end of the day. The sixth and last big development of the day was the absence of any changes to the income tax regime. The only major development regarding income tax was that taxpayers can now file an updated return on payment of additional tax. This updated return can be filed within 2 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. Another development of note here was that the surcharge on long-term capital gains on sale of unlisted assets was capped at 15% from the previous 37% at its peak. This surcharge is an additional charge levied above the LTCG on the sale of any long-term asset of big transaction size. The surcharge followed a slab structure where the percentage charge increased with the transaction size. The highest slab for listed assets like equity and fixed income is already fixed at 15%, while for unlisted assets like property, it was as high as 37% for gains above 5 crore rupees. This is the figure which has been reduced by the government to only 15%, bringing the LTCG treatment for both listed and unlisted assets at par and incentivizing the long-term holding of assets. Although this is of little consequence for everyday investors, we thought to clarify this point completely so that there isn't any misconception that the actual LTCG has increased to 15% from the actual 10%. Although Budget 2022 has not delivered on the expectation of income tax relief, there have also been no negative developments regarding taxation, and in most of the important points, the status quo has been maintained. Thus, we come to the end of this video. We hope we have covered all of the major developments in Budget 2022, which are relevant to individual investors. Let us know in the comments below which development do you think was the most important for retail investors.